What's up guys, this is David from How To Ghost, and today I'm going to show you how to feature a post and then style that featured post differently than all the other posts. So we have a text-based post on this. You can go ahead and go through that if you want. I'll have a link for that in the description. But to get started, I'm going to show you how to feature a post. So we just have a normal blank Casper theme right here with just some test data. The way to feature a post is if you go to your back end and you go to the post you want to feature, hit edit, and then go to the cog menu and then hit feature this post. Update that post, and now this post is a specifically featured post. Now we haven't done anything to change the way a feature post is styled. So if we refresh, you notice this new post looks exactly the same as it always has. So now let's add something where if it's a featured post, we're going to do something differently. So since we're using the default Casper theme, all the changes we're going to be making are in this loop.hbs file. This is a partial file because if you look at the index, it's saying, hey, go to loop, and that's where it's looping through all the posts and adding the HTML for that. So here's the for each loop. So this is saying for each post, add all this data. What we want this to do is check to see if a post is featured. So what we're going to do is do for each post, and then we're going to do if featured, and then we'll have an else, and then we'll have the end of the if. So what we need to do is if it's featured, add something here. If it's not, then put in the regular data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this article class and say, if it's featured, add an article class and add the featured, and then style, background, color, light gray. Now normally you wouldn't have to add this style. You could just add a class and do the CSS like that. I'm just adding the style so I don't have to edit a CSS file to do it for this demo. So now we have the for each post. If it's featured, we're going to add this bit of code. If it's not featured, then just add the regular bit of code. So if I save that and then I refresh the homepage, you can see this featured post now has the gray background. So that way you can see inline, okay, which post is featured, which post isn't. Now what a lot of people want to do is they want to feature a post and have that come to the top of the blog. So there's two ways to do this. This isn't a built-in feature with Ghost yet, and the way you need to do it is you need to do two loops through the actual post to get the feature ones first and then the regular ones second. So we already have this post loop. What we need to do is create a second one that looks for just the featured posts. So let's just go ahead and copy this one. We're going to do it first, so it's going to run through all and find all the feature posts first and put them at the top, and then the other posts at the bottom. So we're going to leave the if featured, and then we're going to add all the code that was actually at the bottom. So we do want to add the light gray background, add the end if here, get this all set up. Okay, so now we're doing one loop here that's for each post. If it's featured, add all of this. So we're going to add the whole post structure. And then down here, what we want to do is we can go ahead and remove this if featured because we're already checking for it above. Cool. So now down here, it's just doing the regular posts. So now if we refresh, you can see the feature post is now at the top with the gray background. The one problem with this, there's actually two problems. The first problem with this is that you can now see that the post is duplicated. So the first thing we need to do is we need to check and make sure that the second loop isn't grabbing feature posts as well. So inside the second loop, we want to use the unless helper, which says if it's not featured, then put the data. So hashtag unless featured, and then down here, /unless, oops. Just style it. So now we have the first loop that says go find the posts if they're featured, put them first. The second post that says if they're not featured, then add them in. So now if we refresh, you can see the new post is gone. So the caveat to this is this will only search for feature posts within whatever you have set as your pagination. So for me currently, I have my pagination set to 2. So it's only going to find featured posts within the first 2. So if I go to content and say I go down to here to blog, this one, and I feature this post, and make it not a static page. And then if I go back and I refresh, you see it's not going to show up here because it's not within that first 2 set. So if you want to get every featured post and put it first, then what you're going to need to do is use the get helper, which is new as of like 7.4 or something like that. So make sure that you're updated. And then go to labs and then make sure that's also enabled so that way you can use the get helper. So for the get helper, what we need to do is we need to wrap the beginning part in the get. So it's going to go get every featured post, list it, and then list the regular posts. So what we're going to do, and we have a text-based post for this as well here. So this is the code we're going to use, the get posts code right here. And I'll walk you through it in a sec. And then end it with a slash get. So we're doing get posts filtered equals featured true. So only if the posts are featured, and then we want to get all posts. And then what we want to do is if it's featured, we can remove leave the for each. So then if it's featured, it's going to list all of them. So now if we refresh the page, it's going to get both posts. So now it has the first one and the second one because they're featured on the blog no matter where they are, because it just went and got all the posts for you. And then we have the normal pagination. So you are still going to run into the problem where you could have your featured posts and then your pagination won't show two more because the second one is featured. But the way that this does work is it works pretty good right now. You can get all the featured, you can get some of the featured, however you want. It's not perfect, but the way it is right now, I think it's suitable and it works pretty well for what you want to do. So that's a quick overview on how to feature posts and how to do some basic styling. Obviously, you can go well beyond just making the background gray. I just did that to kind of show, a basic example of what would happen. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to leave a comment below or hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to help you out, and we have new videos every Wednesday. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.